In this world, we just need some peace in this world. In an attempt to decrease frivolity and to focus on things more substantial, I extract the phrase to ensure domestic tranquility from the preamble. Now I ask that you open up your minds and your hearts so that we don't get caught up in semantics. Cause see, I love America, but sometimes her antics leave me feeling like I'm a hopeless romantic. Now I may lose popularity or even this competition, but I have to hold my position. Cause words are very powerful, and I'm hoping that these can help strengthen a debilitating condition. Some may say, Rick, calm down. You're too intense. But how can I when there's so many things in this world that's making a lot of dollars, but not making a lot of sense? A young man that I was mentoring paid me the greatest and the saddest compliment when he said to me, I wish you were my dad, and his father was still alive. I had to turn my head as the tears streamed from my eyes. Now, if what I'm saying makes you a little uncomfortable in your seat, then maybe it's time you get on your feet and stand up. But I'm always pointing the finger back at me to ask, what have you done? And what difference does it make if you help just one? It makes all the difference in the world to that one. If I throw a pebble in the lake, does it not make a ripple? And all of these problems in the world that seem so complex, can a solution be that simple? It's past time we put down the remotes and cancel your Hulu because there's so much work to do. You see, these problems are plentiful, but the laborers are few. And all of these issues in society, in my life, in your life, we could easily fix if we wasn't so betwixt with Netflix and Amazon Fire Sticks. As we spend a little bit of time that we have on this earth in an attempt to be immortalized, I'm just trying to change the world through my son's eyes. Now we're 04, contest judges, fellow Toastmasters and guests, a little poem and melody written by me, because I'm asking the question, if we are the people. So I'm taking the phrase to ensure domestic tranquility out of its context. Because when I think of it, domestic tranquility can just apply to the peace and the calm that is within you, that is within your community, the world, or the galaxy. So it made me think of all of the changes that I can make in order to make the world better, more peaceful. Dr. King stated that we must all learn to live together as brothers, or we will perish together as fools. So I would have to choose equality over superiority. Just think of me as a 21st century Robin Hood. Only me and the merry men wouldn't have to rob anyone. We would search through the sofa cushions of the budget searching for loose change because we're begging for change. Now I'm not talking about creating more welfare. I'm talking about creating services that will eliminate the necessity for one to even need welfare. So I would ask all religious organizations to return a great portion of the sums that they receive back to the community. So I'm sorry, spiritual teacher. No more private jets if you want to get away from commercial preacher. I'm sorry, rabbi and imam. But somewhere I read, while you're living in mansions, Christos didn't have a place to lay his head. Somewhere I read that you haven't believed until you love for your brother everything you love for yourself. Somewhere I read that God is love. Now that may or may not be true, but when I descend into meditation, I ascend with the realization that the only God that I need is you, and you, and you. I will cut NASA's budget. We'll go to Mars someday. But the truth of the matter is that we can't get along on the earth. How in the world are we supposed to be able to get along on Mars? And if we ever got close to the planet, the Martians would just shut everything down. Shh. It's the Earthlings. You see what they're doing on their planet? OMG. James Allen writes, and as a man thinketh, man is made and unmade by himself. In the armory of thought, he forges the weapons by which he destroys himself. He also fashions the tools by which he builds for himself heavenly mansions of joy, strength, and peace. I will call a summit on nuclear weapons, and the purpose of this summit will be to eradicate every nuclear weapon off of the face of the planet. That's right, we're putting down our nukes and our nukes. Just think of this for a moment. Think of the ingenuity required to build such a weapon. And the only defense that we have against such weaponry is a policy called MAD, Mutual Assured Destruction. You launch yours, we launch ours, we all die. Brilliant! As we move closer to the future, we must be careful of the example that we are exemplifying to our children. The focal point of change greatly rests upon their shoulders. The mind of a child is most impressionable from the infant up until the age of about 7. So if we're sowing seeds of conflict, seeds of retaliation, seeds of confrontation and violence, what shall we reap? I would ensure that there is a chess program in every school to teach our children the strategies and end game of life and how to checkmate, as opposed to becoming inmates. Now I know I'll be met with some opposition, but come what may. Because it saddens me that some of us are more occupied with making a dollar than making a difference. I'm not interested in what makes America great again. I'm only interested in what makes the world great perpetually. So if we are interested in peace, we must pursue it with the persistence that's spoken of by William James when he states that if you only care enough about a goal, you will almost certainly obtain it. If we care about peace, we must pursue peace exclusively and not wish 100 other incompatible things just as strongly. We must practice being more altruistic. We must practice being a little more selfless and a little less selfish. Thank you.